Hi guys, welcome to the Cookie Painter. I'm Elaine, and today we're going to be working with this pumpkin shaped cookie. It measures 3 by 3, so it's kind of a larger cookie, and there's a lot of real estate and stuff. I've got a number of pumpkin cutters that all are the same design, just different sizes, and I usually work with the size smaller than this. The cutter itself looks like this, but what I do when I'm baking is I turn the cookie over so that some of the pumpkin stems point in the other direction just to give it a little bit of variety. So, well, actually, that's something that you're gonna do often, especially with your mittens at Christmas time. Turn the cutter over so that you have a left and a right mitten. Uh, okay. Okay, so what I. Okay, I've got a round brush, a filbert, a script liner, and a spotter brush because what I thought might be cute. Actually, I don't want to start with this one. I want to be conventional because I don't really know what I'm doing. What I wanted to try is painting like an orange pumpkin and then having flowers at the top and at the side. So I don't know if it's going to work. So with the orange, I'm going to want to like stop so that there's a space here for blossoms, and maybe, and then this will be the stem of the pumpkin, and then others I can have the whole pumpkin down here and flowers on top. I don't know. But I thought it was worth a try because I haven't done this design before with my pumpkin cookies. So what I'm doing is I'm starting with my round 5. It's I'm getting my brush damp with the vodka, and at the tip of the brush I'm picking up the orange gel. So what I want to do is just have like the top of the pumpkin and stop maybe partway down and just kind of blend some of this out. And then I'm going to do the other side of the pumpkin, keeping the and they're not perfect, right? I mean, they don't have to have like a perfect curve. Don't put that pressure on yourself. And what'll happen is my palette with the gel in it is going to get too tainted with orange, so I'm going to have to sort of like wash it out. This brush has dropped something right there. That's okay. And then now I just want to clean my brush and just have a little bit of, well, I've got to blend this out. And what I want to do is all 5 of the cookies first. These brushes can just drop little dust bunnies. Not easy to take out. Okay. So the plan is to have the stem here and a bunch of flowers down here. Like you can dry. Let's pick up more liquid. Gel on the tip, and I want to do something the same with this pumpkin. So just get the color down on the sides leave a bunch along the, some white space along the base for a bunch of blossoms. The Wilton orange gel is really pretty, but I'll tell you, I was so happy with the way the color mixing went on my color theory video that when I run out of this orange gel, I'm not going to be buying any more. I'll mix up my own. You know what, we should have a bit more another seam to the pumpkin, maybe right through here. That's another, this little brush, which I thought was going to cooperate. It's dropping very small bristles. That's okay. Okay, this guy can dry. Now, what I want to do also with some of them is have a bunch of flowers on the top, so we're going to see more of the pumpkin here. So I'll take it all the way down to the bottom. But leave more of a more space at the top of the pumpkin to put in some flowers. And I'm just using basically see this little fleck right here? This happens in the gels. You can't control it, you just have to remove them with your brush, which can be a real pain. But what you can do is, like, you know, when you're mixing your own colors, you're not going to have to worry about stuff like that. It's another reason that once I go through these bottles, I'm just going to be working with the primary colors and doing my own color mixing. So a little bit of shading on this pumpkin. Now you get the dark edges. And then just using the vodka to do a bit of blending for the rest of the pumpkin. And this jagged edge at the top, I want to fill with flowers. Okay. He can dry. See, this is what I mean by these these 3x3 cookies being big with a lot of real estate to paint. This pumpkin I also want to have jagged at the top and fill with flowers. I've painted pumpkin cookies like this in the past using a larger brush, and what happened is that big brush, it just sucked up all the color and all the vodka, and I just went through so much just doing a couple of cookies. So personally, I just rather have better control over the vodka and the shading and stuff, and then just take a few minutes to mess around using this round brush instead. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but when the damp brush hits the glaze and then the vodka goes into the gel, it just kind of like pushes it all around. Like in watercolor, it would be called like a bloom. So you have to be really careful, because that's all right as long as the bloom stays on the edge of the pumpkin and doesn't give you a new edge that's crappy. Okay, last one. And why don't we do, we'll paint in the stem and have some flowers over here. So this one, let's have the pumpkin be able to see the base on this side, a little bit darker. I don't want to leave a gap here. This is another orange fleck from the orange gel. And just blend in these lines a little bit. Okay. Now we'll go back to our first cookie. See, ideally what you want is to have all the cookies lined up together. Sorry, I just want to get rid of this line. I don't like that too much. So that when you're picking up a color to do a flower, like the pink or something, you're doing all the pink flowers in all the cookies, and then you're done with that shade before you go on to the next one. Because you have to think, like, if you're doing these in quantity, like, you're kind of like, you want to be efficient with your time. So okay, this has flowers on the bottom. This is supposed to have flowers on the bottom, but it's still wet. My turnstile is too small. So what we can do is, with the cookies that are dry, we can do our, like the stem of the pumpkin just while we're waiting for the other real estate to kind of dry out. So I wonder if the filbert would be okay for this. Let's try. I think I've just mixed, this is kind of like a blend of a whole bunch of different, like, you know, black and brown and, okay, which cookie is the driest? That's all right, well, let's just do this one. Doesn't quite have the same amount of definition that I want. It's using the edge of the filbert. And I don't really care for that dark a stem. Sorry, you guys. Of everything that I've got in my palette, I don't have brown. This is also going to be kind of like darkish green. Let's just leave that guy for now. Which else, what other cookie gets this? This one does. Okay, I want to get rid of that. And let's try picking up this will be probably the juniper green. Juniper or moss. They're really close in shading. That's better. What else gets a top stem? This one does. So once the stem is dry, I can use the spotter brush to add some lines and pull the stem down into the pumpkin. Okay. Now let's figure out some blossoms and stuff that we want to do around the bottom of the pumpkin. But only the ones that are dry, and this guy's still wet. This gets flowers on the top, this one gets flowers on the bottom. And so does this one, and these guys are dry. So let's do this. And just start with some darker colors. Oh, there doesn't have to be a lot, but I just thought this is definitely worth trying. I need that later for a design. Okay, I don't want this to have too much moisture on it. And you can put a darker color on top of a light. So let's just see if I can maybe get some of the, little bit of the purple, or the violet, I mean. Around there. I do like the Wilton violet. It really is pretty. Okay, so you know what we could do? We've got the violet on our brush, and we want to put flowers on the tops of these pumpkins as well. Just the more that we can do at once, the better. And it seems kind of dry over on this side. Oop. Boy, that's too much gel. The filbert brush is a great brush to have in your arsenal. This is a filbert 6 by Princeton and Newton. Okay, that'll work. And this guy's dry around the top. A little more dry over here though. So I just picked up, the brush is damp, and I'm picking up some of the purple, geez, you know what I mean, the violet. That's with the tip. And then depending on how you hold the brush, you get petals that look a little bit different. Is this guy dry in the corner? Okay, well that's hideous. I don't know what I was thinking. Let's just fix this up a little bit, like that. Okay, now let's switch to sorry, I'm just going through my palettes. You know, I just don't trust the red. It bleeds like the dickens. It really does. I don't like trusting the red. So let's go with one of the pinks. It's probably, it's either a rose or it's a pink. But regardless, they are nice shades. And let's just put my liquid over here. I could use this, maybe use the spotter brush so that we have better control over small blossoms. I'm just wanting to make sure that things are dry where we're headed. This palette is plastic, so I'm getting some squeaking when I rub the spotter brush through the glaze, or through the gel, I mean. Jeepers creepers, I can't like paint and talk at the same time. The rest we can, we can do some filling in, obviously with greenery. Oh, that one's already done? Okay. Some pink to this guy. The pink gel also tends to have a number of those little flakes in it for some strange reason. I guess with the way they make the gel, it does kind of solidify over time. Okay. That's it for the pink. I think we could try, if I've got the golden yellow out here somewhere, which I think I do. As long as it's different enough from the orange, we should be okay. And it should be, I'm just going to use my spotter brush again. Okay, I think that's kind of like all right like that. Sometimes just something simple, like with your spotter brush, is okay. At least I think it is. And we'll put some greenery in here. He's done. I might not even use my script liner. Okay, have we got everybody? One more. And I think we just want to, this was some bleeding, but that's okay. It's easy to get carried away. Okay, so let's rinse this off and figure out how we're going to add the green. And what we're going to use for sure is the dark, this like moss green, because if we tried a leaf green or whatever, it would be a flippin' disaster. It wouldn't show up against the pumpkin and stuff like that. But okay, well, you know what? Let's just try, first of all, with doing some Because if we can just do something kind of like thin. Sorry, this stuff makes me nervous because honestly, like it can work great and it can bleed like crazy. We don't want any crazy bleeding. We just want some. See, this is like crappy. It's not what I wanted. I'm going to turn that into a larger leaf. But we just want to have some greenery and off in different directions. Couple little leaves. It's just a cookie. And then, since we've got our script liner, what we would like to do is see if we can clean up some of these borders where it goes into the pumpkin. I don't know. You know what? This is like too fussy. And I'm probably going to use a spotter brush to do that later. Okay. So what we don't want to have to do is come back to the cookie. So whatever we're doing now, we want to see if this can be counted as done. Oh, but if I say that, then, okay, so what I'm going to use my spotter brush right now and some dark. And just kind of like fix up the stem a little bit. Okay. Let's count him as done. Ugly and done. But for this, see if we can do some better foliage. Don't overthink it. And I think actually I'm going to do the centers of the flowers. I'll try a dark burgundy or see if I can get something to work. Okay, so this is a stem that I've got to fix up. It's had some lines through it. Good enough. Now we need some leaves. I don't know if the spotter brush is best for this or not. I'm sure all of you can paint nicer leaves than this. I do have a tough time doing nice foliage. Okay. 2 to go. I think I'm going to go back to using my script liner and see what happens. Just for some of the, like, could have like a vine kind of thing happening through them. It's kind of like a little looser. For something that looks a little bit different. And when the script liner, it seems to be like it's okay leaving some color on the lighter orange on the pumpkin, which is good. I'm going to do the same with this one. There are no rules, just do what you want. And if it looks crappy, you'll know not to do it again next time. There's lots of bleeding with this, the violet right here. Oh, darn. Okay. So now what? Let's see if there is a, I need something dark for, and just real quick, do the centers for some of the flowers. See if there's this burgundy. Oh, make sure your brush is clean. So I'm just gonna pick up some liquid on my spotter brush, and then I think this is like a nice dark burgundy. Looks like I put some black to it, but just to do some centers for some of the flowers. Who else? I don't really need to be transferring them to my turntable thingy, just to drop in a few little dots. And then I think we'll just have to review what we've done and see if anything needs like major league fixing up, or if they're going to be okay. Sorry, I mean, I don't really need to be reaching across the camera. Some of the centers. And a few of the centers on this one. Totally okay using the same. Oh, missed. Okay. Clean off the brush. Now what we're going to do, a step that should be avoided if you do things right the first time, is fix. So this, to be honest with you, like I think he's okay. I don't just mind defining a couple of these petals. And anybody else in the purple? Oh yeah, this border on these guys to be sharpened up. Okay, I think that's okay for the purple. I do like the effect of the script liner with the green and kind of putting in some grasses. So all I'm going to do is just go back and try to soften. See, the other thing is, like, when you're painting on top of another color, it's the gel doesn't really stay behind as well. So you'll find that you're going back a couple of times. Let's just have something maybe curving up over here. I don't know. I do think this is kind of sweet. You might be thinking, oh my God, it's hideous. I'm never doing that design. Okay. If he's done, put him to the side. I think he's good enough. I'm not using my spotter brush. Get out of here. This, I just want to add some grasses. Sucker for grasses. I don't know. I don't really have too much of a plan, but I don't know. I do think these are kind of cute. Anything that's different, you know? Okay, this guy's I'm going to count as done. This guy I kind of like just the way he is. I don't think I really need to wreck it by doing anything further. I think this bleeding right here happened because the cookie wasn't entirely dry when I put on the purple. So I could use a few grasses just to soften things a little bit. And the other one also already has its grasses. Okay, so let's rinse this brush and not leave you looking at a blank screen. I want to get rid of my turntable and just show you how these guys look. Thank you for your company. Okay. Okay, thanks you guys. See you next time.